Hey, like, share, and subscribe. Hey, how y'all doing? So, NXT Takeover 30 has just ended. So, this is going to be my reaction video. I'm going to go through matches in reverse order. So, from main event to kickoff match. As you can probably hear it in my voice, I was not thrilled with the show, especially the last two matches, but we'll get to it. So, Karrion Kross has won the NXT Championship from Keith Lee in a match that was the finish of that match was so goddamn flat. It came out of nowhere. Even the people who were in the building were surprised that the match ended that way. And they was like, oh, stunned silence. I'm like, no, they were surprised because nobody saw that fucking finish coming. There's some merit to having a finish that nobody sees coming, but that needs to be, built up to. But this match was kind of slow. It also told a similar story to the previous match. Like somebody, like when you agent a match, like from not my, huge amount of experience agenting wrestling matches, but when you see a match that has the same story back to back, or at least the same psychology back to back, you know there's a problem. So the Io Shirai match, was Dakota Kai working the arm, and the Keith Lee Karrion Kross match, it was they were working the arm. Same heel works the babyface's arm. It was the same story, the same psychology rather. And I was like, I didn't appreciate that. I didn't like that shit at all. I did appreciate the story element of why Karrion Kross would target Keith Lee's arm. They were telling the story of Keith Lee being really strong. And WWE has its own language. Everybody knows this. They never use the word strong. They always use the word powerful. Always. They're like, they're trying to nullify the power of Keith Lee. Keith Lee is so powerful. He's so powerful. I'm like, can't you just say he's strong? Like, is strong not a strong enough word? I don't get it. But the point of of course working Keith Lee's arm is to nullify his strength, which they showed at the beginning of the match where Keith Lee ran across the ring and kind of trucked Karrion Kross a little bit, bumped him. That Kross was kind of shocked, like, wow, this guy's really strong. And that was kind of the story of the match is, Kross would try to impose his will, but Keith Lee would be strong enough to fight back. And that was sort of the story of the match, the give and take. And then, Kross had to wear him down. And then, he was able to apply his moves. Like he tried to do the Doomsday Saito a little early. Keith Lee got out of it. And then he did it again later. Keith Lee kicked out of it. He also, the cross jacket spot was a pretty good near fall. I did appreciate that. But I hated the finish. This Doomsday Saito from the second rope. I think maybe because the match felt slow, and it didn't feel like that was the crescendo of the match. It didn't hit for me. So I think it wasn't a bad match, but it never really felt like it kicked into the second gear, as far as I was concerned. And maybe it was because the Keith Lee stories is always him running into something or hurting his elbow or shoulder or something, and then he spends most of the match on his back in wrist locks or something like that. And I'm not really a fan of that sort of style of booking, but whatever. Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai was it was okay. It felt like a TV main event, which is what I said in the prediction show. It felt just like that. Dakota Kai got a lot of offense in. She got to show off her stuff. But again, it was a match where the heel was working the arm. The heel just worked the arm. She had a good arm bar in at one point in the match, which was really solid. I liked the interference spot. The interference spot was actually legit as far as I thought the match might be over. Even though I didn't see any reason why Io Shirai should lose. But it made sense for that to happen. It made sense for the match to build to Raquel, because it's like Chekhov's gun. If you see a gun in the scene somewhere, you got to use it eventually. Managers are sort of the same way, even though Scarlett wasn't used, but when a manager has to eventually or somebody is in somebody else's corner has to eventually play a role in the story, and they did a good job of having Dakota Kai throw everything at Io Shirai. And then when all else failed, the ref bump was kind of like, oh, finally an opportunity. And then Raquel slid in and did her thing, and but it wasn't enough. So that was a good story. It was okay. It was a pretty good match. It felt like a TV main event. I did enjoy the good old stare down between Ripley and Raquel. I did like that, but I liked even more the shot of Io Shirai celebrating in the ring with Rhea Ripley standing in the aisleway, and the camera, the hard camera, was on Io Shirai, but behind Io Shirai, like a little over her left shoulder, you could see Rhea Ripley just standing there. You know, as the lights and everything did what they do, and Rhea Ripley's just standing there watching her. You know, like she's stalking her. I thought that was fucking awesome. I love, you know, a good camera shot like that. That's why, you know, you shouldn't cut the camera so much. You know, like you cut, you miss shots like that. And it seemed like that was obviously planned well in advance because they didn't cut it. So that was really good. I like what they're doing with Rhea Ripley. I don't like that she wasn't featured in a match, but I did like that they did some stare downs with her to let you know that she does have somewhere to go later, and she's not just floating. So Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole was actually a surprisingly good match. It was a better match than it should have been. Pat McAfee is a crazy athlete. I'm not so. Look, I still think that it was a waste of Adam Cole. Like, they really should have had him wrestle somebody else. But he got a decent match out of Pat McAfee. You know, the Pat McAfee was able to do some very basic wrestling stuff and able to show off his jumping ability, which is what was sort of the star of the show. Like, we know Adam Cole is Adam Cole, so we really was watching this match to see what how Pat McAfee works. You know, how he's good at selling. Is he good at telling a story visually? And he did okay. Like, you know, he did great when it comes to the athletics part. Him leaping to the top rope, him doing the jump off the top rope, you know, the swanton onto the crowd of Undisputed Era and the football players and the security and all that stuff. That was really great. He did a great job playing a heel as far as he knew when to powder. You know, he ended up in a headlock, you know, which they were trying to tell us that, you know, obviously he's not a wrestler. So he, you know, powdered. He knew how to do that. And that was good. You know, he did a decent job of selling when he was trying to kick Adam Cole in the head outside the ring, and he ended up kicking the stairs. Now, I would have liked for him to kick it a little bit harder because it kind of felt like he was scared to really like just lay it in to kick and move the stairs. Like, he kicked it like he was scared of the stairs. Like, move them fucking stairs, dog. Kick that shit hard. Make it look like it really hurt. But, you know, it told the story of him, you know, selling the leg. He cuts a good promo. You know, I liked his promo. I actually did like the promo on Takeover where he said he had the strongest legs for a human, or the strongest legs in the history of legs, or some shit. I thought that was pretty good. And he did a good job, you know, so I can't hate on it. As much as I didn't like the concept of him being in this match, I can't hate on it. He did a good job. I still think that I would have rather it been somebody else, but it was a good match, so I can't complain. Right guy won, so it wasn't nothing to get mad about. See, North American Championship ladder match, whole lot of spots, did a lot of spots. Damian Priest won, right guy won. It was, see, whenever the Velveteen Dream's on the screen, it becomes about him now. And I couldn't help but notice the lack of enthusiasm when he came out. And I have seen the subtle shade from coworkers on Twitter, Finn Balor, Nia Jax, and it was somebody else. I think it might have been Simone Johnson, who might have been tossing a little bit of shade at Velveteen Dream recently. He probably does need to go home for a while, you know, because if everybody in the Performance Center, as far as I know, was WWE personnel, and if they weren't going to even respond to him, and some of them did, you know, later on, but when he came out initially, no, they were not. I was not a fan of Thick Boy's Bam Bam Bigelow cosplay. Oh shit! Oh god, fuck! All right, Candice LeRae got involved in this match, and she did a bunch of stuff. You know, she did some hurricanranas and stuff, and I was just kind of like, I could have did without. I don't know, like Johnny Gargano is like a mark for his wife. It's like, come on, dude, like just go sit down, man. like cut this shit out. Just cut it out, dog. Like, don't. I mean, it's hard to say that a man is a simp for his own wife, you know, because I guess if you're going to be a simp for anybody, it should be her. But come on, bro. Like, he looked like the kind of guy who might actually. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Actually, I will say it. He seemed like the kind of guy who might like cheer, like if it's saw he saw like his video of his wife fucking somebody else. Like he might actually be like, "Yeah, girl, go ahead." No, I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. Johnny Gargano. Anyway, the match it's a typical ladder match. It's a whole bunch of ladder spots. I don't know. I'm kind of burnt out on ladder matches, man. I just felt like I've seen a lot of them, and then in the empty arena, it just didn't feel that exciting. And it felt like a long match too. Like, did this match feel long to anybody? It felt like this match went on for a long, long time. I think they went with the right choice. They went with the safe choice, which was Damian Priest. They kind of have to make this guy a star, man, because NXT is really having a hard time booking baby faces. They are really struggling when it comes to baby faces, man. As far as what they did to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, what they just did to Keith Lee at Takeover. You know, building. I mean, yes, you build them up and then you push them off the mountain. That's how you do it. But not having anything for them afterwards. With not having anything for Finn Balor, not having anything for Tommaso Ciampa. Not really having anything for Io Shirai, if we're being honest. So you kind of have to capitalize on the momentum that you have with these characters. And I feel like WWE NXT specifically needs to really capitalize on the momentum of Damian Priest and Io Shirai. I don't know how with Io Shirai, because now she's beaten sort of the second tier top heel in NXT. So maybe she goes after Rhea Ripley. Has to be next, right? But I guess Mercedes Martinez has to be in there too. So the opener was Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher, which is exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is a showcase for Timothy Thatcher that Finn Balor ends up winning. It was a good match, pretty badass, pretty physical, really good match. Finn Balor he feels like a secondary performer in this brand. And, I peeked on Twitter, obviously, I shouldn't have done that. But, a lot of people feel the same way I feel about Finn Balor, that there's people who are saying he need to go back to Raw or SmackDown. And I think that going back to NXT was supposed to be the cure. Like the cure for bad creative, I was told, is to go back to NXT. That's what I was told. But going to NXT now is a fucking death wish. fucking Kushida. Fuck. When you talk about go to NXT so you get treated better. Look at Kushida. I'm pointing at nothing, saying go look at Kushida. Look at how they fucking treat Kushida. It's not gonna work, dog. But Timothy Thatcher was good in this match. He told a decent story as far as working the leg, different body part. I believe it was the Cornette show that basically said that NXT is kind of dull, and I do think it has kind of been that. It has been consistent, but it's been very, very consistent to the point where it's not bad, but it's not fantastic either. It's just kind of been consistently good. And it's like consistently good to the point of, if this show was any longer, and I was disappointed that certain matches wasn't on this show, but I feel like if this show had been longer, I probably would have been bored. So the match, because some of these matches felt longer than they needed to be. Like Io Shirai and Dakota Kai felt longer than it needed to be. The ladder match felt longer than it needed to be. So I don't know. But the kickoff match was Breezango winning, which was fucking stupid. They beat Legado del Fantasma and Lorcan and Birch. And you know what? That motherfucker Birch looks like a 40-year-old wrestler from World Class. Like, I swear, I feel like I saw him in Shreveport in 1983. He looks like a journeyman territory wrestler. He is so non-fucking-descript. He is nondescript as fuck. Sometimes I will forget he's even there. Like, I would just be like, because I love Oni Lorcan. I really do. But Danny Birch, not a fan. Not a fan. Somebody need to put some tassels on him. You need to put some colors on him. Put some paint on him. Or something. So that he stands out. Because he looks like a turnbuckle out there. The dude is just so normal. He's such a normal looking guy. He just looks like the guy you see in the elevator somewhere. He does not look like a wrestler at all. Or yeah, he does look like a wrestler. I just said, but he doesn't look like a larger than life personality. That's kind of what I meant by a wrestler. He doesn't look like a larger than life personality. He looks like a job guy for Bill Watts. That's what he looks like. But it was a decent show. It was one of the weaker takeovers. There was nothing to gush over. There were some things to complain about. So I would say it's a solid 6.5, 7, which is weak for a takeover. There were takeovers, man, where you had to break the scale. They were just so amazing. But those shows were obviously in front of live crowds. And I did enjoy that, some WWE wrestlers like Cesaro and Sasha Banks and Bayley, they sort of returned the favor by coming to NXT to make some noise. I like that. I like that touch. I thought it was very professional for them to, I guess, they were going to watch the show anyway, so they might as well watch it live. And I like that Drew McIntyre was there. And it felt very professional. It was a big presentation as it could have been. But I'm confused why they didn't take it to the Thunderdome. I guess, I don't know. Maybe they just want to work the kinks out. Or they wanted to run the SmackDown. Then they're going to run the SummerSlam in the Thunderdome. I guess they just didn't want to blow it out of proportion and do it a takeover as well. But I think this show probably would have been a lot better in the Thunderdome. Maybe not, because Thunderdome had its own problems. But I will go to the Thunderdome problems on SummerSlam. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comment section below. Like this video, share, and subscribe. I will talk to you later.